So Liverpool picked up a 2-1 win over Chelsea at the weekend, and that impressive victory not only kept them top of the Premier League table, but also bolstered their credentials as title contenders and continued Arne Slot's really remarkable start at Anfield. Last week ahead of the game, I put together a piece for Transfermarkt looking at Liverpool's record in big games against top six sides in the Premier League and Klopp's last 3 seasons at the club. And one of the things I definitely noticed was that while they actually had the second best head-to-head record amongst teams who were either in the top 6 or competing for the top 6, they were still notably behind Manchester City. And in some of the seasons in particular, you could see where they dropped off and why that definitely got in the way of them being genuine title contenders and why it definitely got in the way of them going on to win the actual league. For example, in those 3 seasons, they naturally played 30 games against the other 5 teams in the top 6 each season, and they only picked up 11 wins, 3 draws and 13 defeats. And over the course of those games, they dropped 46 points. Naturally, the 12 points dropped in the 21-22 season stopped them from winning the league title. 16 points dropped in the 22-23 season would have seen them move up from 5th to 3rd place. And the 16 points they dropped last season was considerably more than the 10-point difference between them finishing 3rd and finishing 1st. None of this is to say that Liverpool had a notably bad record in big games, but it's these kind of very thin margins that obviously got in the way of them keeping up with Manchester City each and every season. And that's why it's so crucial to keep an eye on their performances in these big games this season to see if Arne Slot is making a notable improvement this time around. The really interesting thing for me on that weekend's game was the way that they really outperformed Chelsea, I thought, for much of the 90 minutes. We take a look at not only the XG, which Liverpool finished higher than Chelsea's with 2.23 to Chelsea's 1.34, but if we also look at the XG timeline, which basically shows the amount of chances created over the course of the game, and which team was more or less dominating, we can see that Liverpool's was higher than Chelsea's for more or less the entire 90 minutes, as with just maybe that kind of minor kind of 5-minute period around the 20th minute mark where Chelsea maybe looked like they were going to get the better of their opponents. This undoubtedly was due to Liverpool doing a fantastic job in keeping Cole Palmer quiet for the course of the game. Not only did he not make a single pass into the box, but he also didn't register a single shot on target. And as we know, Chelsea's performance this season have not only been very attacking, not only very reliant on goals, but more than anything else, really reliant on Cole Palmer, not only pulling the strings, but also often sticking the ball in the back of the net. Not only did Arne Slot do this great job of this tactically by not only having Cody Gakpo double up on him to help Andy Robertson in the left back, but he also had Curtis Jones and Ryan Gravenberch moving out left to really keep Cole Palmer quiet. And by the end of the game, we actually saw Palmer more often than not drifting around the middle of the park rather in the final third, just because he was really struggling to get on the ball. Saturday's performance is also very similar to Liverpool's performance against Manchester United earlier in the season. Whether Ten Hag's side are actually going to finish in the top 6 is certainly up for debate, but if we actually take a look at the XG timeline of that game, we can also see a similar trend. As we can see here, Liverpool definitely pulled ahead of Man United just before the half-time and then kind of pulled away at the start of the second half as well. Man United certainly had their chances from the 60th minute onwards, but by that point the game was already won. And while the match may have finished with both teams finishing with a relatively similar XG, when we look at it over the course of the timeline, we can see that Liverpool dominated where it mattered. And that's the really crucial thing in these big games. It's not just a case of Liverpool scraping a win or scraping a draw or whatever else. They're dominating both Manchester United and Chelsea over the course of 90 minutes. And that's what should really encourage Liverpool fans over the course of this season. The other really encouraging thing from the first 8 games is that Arne Slot's side are really outperforming their rivals in the underlying stats. We've talked about XG a lot, so we can obviously take a look at that. So far, they've got the highest XG in the league, which means they're creating more chances than any other team. They've also got the lowest XG against than any other team, which would suggest that they've got the best defence as well. But when we put that together to look at the expected points, which is obviously related to XG and XG against, Liverpool are also top of the league with 18.42 points, which is notably 4 points ahead of Manchester City. So while they may be neck and neck with Man City, they definitely are performing better on the pitch than Pep Guardiola's team right now. Of course, it's still far too early to say, and Liverpool, of course, have Arsenal this weekend and then play Manchester City in November. So these games coming up will be just as important as the ones that they've won already against Manchester United and Chelsea. But they've already overcome 2 big tests and look solid. And as we mentioned, Jurgen Klopp's side over the last 3 seasons definitely had a habit of dropping points in this game. Arne Slot's side haven't done that yet. And if they can put in similar performances against Arsenal and Manchester City, we might find that they're far closer to the league leaders come May and could be genuine title contenders this season.